It's now time for On the Line with Cheryl Wilkerson. The conversation will range from local dialogue to international. This show is meant to enlighten, inform, and to inspire. On the Line with Cheryl Wilkerson begins now.
Hello and welcome to On the Line. I'm your host, Cheryl Wilkerson. Glad to be with you on this Sunday, this homecoming Sunday. Everybody on the yard, so exciting. Good to have people coming back. Behold the green and gold and all of that. Well, today we speak with a woman who knows radio, she knows media, she knows celebrities. Some of you will know her name. Some of you will know her voice. As my daughter now still walks around the house mimicking her voice because she loved it so very much. We welcome to On the Line, Kim Nelson Ingram. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning. Now you make me feel like I have to put my radio voice, my smooth jazz radio voice on, which I haven't used for a very long time.
Shalita walks around the house. Okay, just say it for me one time so I can tell her you said it. CD, go ahead.
Smooth jazz, CD 105.3. It's Kim Nelson Ingram with you this afternoon. We're playing, I don't know, Cheryl's favorite.
Shalita, love that.
Man, I haven't done that in so long. That's hilarious.
Well, you haven't done it so long because you're out here with everybody doing everything. So we have to tell this story really quickly because the 30 minutes goes by so fast. Well, first and foremost, I should say that we are celebrating homecoming, but you're a graduate of that other school. We don't hold that against you because it is an HBCU.
Listen.
Okay, it is an HBCU.
Yes, FAMU.
FAMU
Yes,
is in the house today. You went to FAMU and you majored in what?
I majored in broadcast journalism.
Why?
Yeah, broadcast journalism. Well, I always have had a love for media. I think, I came up under the Oprah era when she was, coming along and making her mark. And so I remember in like junior high or high school watching her show, and I was like, you know what? I want to do something in this field. But when I got to FAM, sorry, Spartan. but when I got to FAM and I was majoring in journalism, one of the things that I, we studied everything. So we studied television news, which is what my emphasis was broadcast. But we also had classes in print, and of course, I ended up working at the radio station. Not everybody did, but it's just something that I wanted to do, and that's when I fell in love with the radio. And I made it my business to kind of always be multifaceted in that way. Mm-hmm. It served me well in my career that I could do a lot of different things. And so, that's when I first did radio at WAMS is what it was then. It's not that anymore. It's changed. Their call letters have changed. But that's where I had my first radio show.
And so I met you when you were here in Norfolk and you were broadcasting at a local radio station here. And you have to tell this Tom Joyner story because it is a story for the ages. You're on the air, you're doing your thing, and one day you come and tell me, I'm going to work for Tom Joyner, but you didn't quite have the job. So can you walk us through that campaign, please?
You know what? And you're right, we don't have a whole lot of time, but in essence, part of my job or during my shift some of the time, Tom, for whatever reason, that studio that I was in, the feed came through for his weekend show. So sometimes I would have to record, basically. I was going to say download, but we weren't downloading this.
Right.
the weekend show. And so even though I couldn't listen to his show in the morning that much because often I was doing the morning show, I became obsessed with Tom Joyner, or I would listen on my way in because at a certain point I was doing a midday shift. So I would listen to Tom's show in the morning. And I don't know, Cheryl, somehow I just became obsessed with it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to work with Tom. Period, point blank. He would come to Norfolk and I would go to the Sky shows. And you're right. I started this campaign where, I met him at the Sky show. And I told him that, I was the one that, helped with the weekend show. And I think I made fans at that particular time. I was like, I'm your biggest fan. I handed out fans. And then I would send different kind of packages.
Yep.
Like I would send my demo tape like in a pizza box and say, I'll help deliver you ratings or I don't know. One time I sent One time I sent something like my resume in a cassette tape. It was
Mm-hmm.
in a Kentucky Fried Chicken box. Do you remember that?
I remember the pizza box.
Oh my goodness! But it got his attention. You know,
Tom Joyner comes to town,
media.
and he's like, "Who is Kim Nelson Ingram?" That is what the man said. Yes,
that is what he said. Yeah,
he was in a
gosh.
theater full of people, and that's what he said. Yeah,
You're remembering the story way better than I am. But yeah.
Yep.
And so over time, we developed a relationship, and he hit me when I'll never forget this. He hit me up when a certain position was available. But it just wasn't the right timing. It wasn't the right money, and it just didn't feel right. So I passed it. I don't even know if you know this. I passed up the first position that was offered to me. But he was like, okay, we're going to keep you in mind, and so and so. And I don't know how long later it was, but he was like, yeah, I want you to come. Will you come? It's a producer position and some other stuff, which I should have asked what the other stuff was, but I didn't. But yeah, packed up and moved to Beverly, which was Dallas.
Kim did that. And I mean, when you went on his cruises, all that kind of stuff, she was there making sure the guests were on the show for the radio show, producing that show and all that entails. But she was also so important with putting those cruises together and getting those musical acts. And Tom Joyner probably still calls you for the stuff he needs. No joking. He probably still calls you.
I just talked with him I talked with him the other day. I definitely stay in touch. Because I left the show for a while and did some other things, which I don't know if we'll get into or not because we only have 30 minutes. But the 2 years, well, unbeknownst to me, he was getting ready to retire. But he called me and asked me to come back. And I'd like to think it was because he knew he was getting ready to retire and wanted me to do those last 2 years with him. And so, yeah, it was a very full circle time in my career.
You also did Dish TV.
Yes, Dish Nation.
Dish Nation.
It's a show on Fox. It's still on Fox. At the time, it was this weird morphing of radio shows and TV. So it was morning radio shows. We started off with about 6 or 7 different cities. And I worked with the Dallas cast, and they had a cast in Atlanta, which they still do, and a cast in Detroit. But in any case, because of my radio experience and my TV experience that I had even gotten more of since that time, it was a perfect fit. And I worked at Dish Nation. I worked at I did Monique's late night talk show.
You sure did. I forgot when you worked with Monique. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Monique had a radio show prior to that.
Right.
And I helped launch her it was an afternoon drive radio show. So I've kind of gone back and forth between radio and TV a lot. I always thought that I would be this news anchor, news reporter, and I did. Do you remember when I was at Wavy in Norfolk? Like I was basically an intern slash, I don't know, part-timer. But I had an experience then, and it kind of shifted me away from wanting to do that. Mm-hmm. It was with Kelly Wright. You know Kelly, right?
Yes.
I would go out with him, and long story short, it was like a murder or some type of bad situation, right? Where we had to still get the story. And Kelly was marvelous. And he said a prayer with I believe it was the mom, and it was very comforting and all of that. But it did something in my psyche that made me go, you know what? I'm not going to be able to be out here in these streets covering murders and standing out with hurricanes and stuff.
That's what changed Oprah. That's why she stopped doing hard news. Yeah.
Yeah, so I shifted, but I still, with my positions as a producer, have been able to still keep the news part that I like going because, of course, we do news on the morning show.
Right.
And, yeah.
And most recently, you were associated with the Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Yes, Ricky Smiley's. I've been his EP. So when Tom retired and hung up his headphones for the last time, more or less, they moved Ricky over from the mainstream hip hop format to Tom's market, which was the urban AC format. And so I helped in that transition, and I've been with Ricky it's been almost 3 years. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy.
And what have you learned about working with celebrities? Because when we came up way back when, celebrities came for a visit, but they weren't
True.
actually doing the show. What have you learned about celebrities?
Well, it definitely has changed the landscape of radio. That's certainly true, because they're not radio people first. They are whatever they are first. Whatever brought them to their celebritydom. Is that even a word?
That is now. You coined it.
That that's what they do, and that's normally what their first love is. So it brings a different nuance to it, but I feel like all of my experiences in working with different celebrities enables me to do it as gracefully as I have.
Okay.
Is that a good way of saying that? Because it takes a different skill set. Most celebrities, they're used to being a celebrity, right? They're used to people
Coddled.
moving around a certain kind of a way. I'm going to let you say it. Okay.
Coddled, yeah.
And, but you know what I mean?
And Kim is the type, Kim's going to get in there and Kim's going to get the work done. So she's not going to have the time to coddle you as much as, hey, I need you to read this. This is a PSA. I need this read before you left, or going into this break where you need to talk about X, Y, and Z, because you know it because you studied it. They don't know it. They haven't studied it.
Right. But you see how you just said that? It's all in how you do it. And it is a skill set. Like if I were to go in there and be like, Ricky, look, I need you to do A, B, C, D, and E, and this is it. And bottom line is that it would never get done. Okay. You have to have a certain type of demeanor and personality. And yes, you have to get it done. And sometimes, we might have got into it a little bit, but not often, because you people tend to match your energy. So
that's true. What advice do you have for young people that are wanting to be where you are? They say, oh, Kim Nelson Ingram, she's done this and she's done that, and I want to be like her. What do you tell them, Kim?
Well, you know what? I hope we have time, because I need to answer that question with a story that just recently happened to me.
Okay.
Literally just a few days ago. So a friend of mine, we used to work together in radio. She has been out of the business for, I don't know, probably 10 years now. But a young lady reached out to her because she needed to interview someone in radio. And she declined. She said, I haven't done it in a while, but let me reach out to my girlfriend. She has been the EP of this, that, and the third. Whatever. She shared my credits. So she called me and asked me would I do it. I said, you know what? It's for this young lady. She's in college. Absolutely. Because I try to always help where I can. I can't always, I can't get you the job or, give you the interview necessarily, but I will help you, give you tools, whatever. So I said, not a problem. She said, yeah, she just needs to interview someone in radio. I said, no problem. Give her my personal cell phone number, have her text me, and we'll set up a time to do the interview. This young lady, first strike, texts me at 11-something p.m. Okay? Does not say, hello, Miss Kim, hello, Ms. Nelson Ingram, nothing, no greeting, nothing. Just, hi, I'd like to interview you for my radio, TV, film class. Such and such gave me the number, wrong name. Just bad text, bad grammar, bad everything, bad timing, everything.
Wow.
But I said, let me give her a pass. She doesn't really know. It's a long story. I'm going to try to make it short. I'm going to fast forward. I said, you know what? Sure, I'll do it. No problem. She says, well, all you really need to do, I sent her, the lady who she got the interview with, I sent her a Google document. All you need to do is fill out the answers to the questions and send it back, because it really doesn't have to be a formal interview. My response was, that is not an interview. That is a questionnaire, or basically an essay that you're asking me to do. I said, I'd be more than happy to carve out a time to talk with you, and you can write down the answers to your assignment. Second strike. Like, really? In what form of the dictionary ever has it existed that an interview means that you give someone a questionnaire to fill out, or that you write down essay questions? And Cheryl, it was about 30 questions.
Ooh, okay.
So then we scheduled a time to do the interview, because she said, okay, no problem. after she told me that this time and this time and this time wouldn't work, the times that I offered her, because she had other things to do.
Wow.
So I finally said, okay, how about this? I said, my mornings are a little hectic. And she has classes in the afternoon. I said, how about we do Sunday? I said, I'll go ahead and carve out my Sunday because I really want to help you. And I really, would like to have a conversation, just find out a little bit more about you and what you're doing and your career path and aspirations. We set a time for 2 p.m. on Sunday. She didn't call me at 2 p.m. on Sunday. She didn't call me at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 on Sunday. I finally get a text at around 9:45 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
that said something to the effect of, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with other essays I was doing. Is there another time this week that works?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry.
Girl, I was hurt more than anything because I was like, I wish someone that has been through the trials and tribulations of the career that I have
Yep.
would have taken the time to give me their personal cell phone number and say, call me. We can have a conversation with you. I'll talk with you as long as you want. I'm not going to write them down for you, but I'll talk with you as long as you want. And for her to not even call me to say, I'm sorry. I mean, nothing. I was like, what is happening? What is wrong? Where are we going wrong with these kids? That's what you don't do. So my schedule is very busy this week. No, not even trying to be funny. And so I said, there's not another time. That's why I offered you my precious weekend.
Yeah, your Sunday.
My Sunday. And I was like, best of luck to you.
And that's the best
I don't
you
have
can
another
do.
time.
That's the best
But
you
I
can
felt
do.
in my heart, I wanted to find another time in my schedule. I was like, no, she's already proven that she doesn't appreciate what I could possibly have to offer her.
She doesn't. She really doesn't. And put that in comparison with the story of having an A in a class and then tell it. Put it in comparison, please.
So I believe this was my senior year. It was either my junior or senior. I think this was my senior year. And I had a journalism professor. It was no joke, okay? And I had an A in his class, and we had a project to do, like a semester project, which was going to be a significant part of the grade. We worked on it for several weeks. Let's say 6 weeks. I'm not really sure how long now. But the day the assignment was due, I was late to class. And I was late to class, Cheryl, by maybe 2 minutes. No more than 5. But in my spirit, I feel like it was like just a little bit late, like 2 minutes, right? Prof. Wilson, God rest his soul, he accepted it, right? But he said, you're late. So I got a 0 on that project and ended up with a C in the class.
And
so
people, I get the vibes that sometimes I'm too much of a stickler for this or stickler for that, or just because the FCC says you got to do the legal at the top of the hour, it might be all right if you miss it one time. No, you got to do it. But This is the way we were trained to do it properly.
It is.
And when we see these fake people that would not get on an airplane and go to Ukraine to report it, or the people that post news that's not news or incorrect news, you feel some kind of way when you spent a large part of your life learning to do it the right way at your expense, paying for a good college to go to or university.
Absolutely.
And then you see these people that she can't even call you on time. She can't even address you correctly. She can't even contact you at the right time. And so as long as I have breath in me, I'm going to get them. I ate a student up this week with love. Notice I said with love, and she
with
knew
love. I understand.
I was doing it with love, but not on my watch. You are going to learn it the right way. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, and unfortunately, it's not just this young lady. It's I have experienced it a lot. Not with the blatant disrespect that I think this was, but just with what I call the GE philosophy, like. Good enough is what I call it. Good enough. GE, we bring good things to life, but it's going to be dead in 2 seconds because it's really not good enough. Like, it's just the bare minimum will do. That's the philosophy that I see so prevalent. And it saddens me because, like you said, we were trained differently. Like, it is what it is, especially when it comes to things like news and journalism and getting the facts right and doing your research and not reporting things that are just hearsay or on your social media feed until you check. Fact check something before you report. That I don't know where that has gone. But
we saw
well, don't
that
get me
whole
started.
debacle with the Boston Celtics story recently. People posting pictures of innocent women when these women have
Mhm.
husbands and children and family,
Mhm.
and you're plastering their face all over everything, and it's incorrect.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
you don't get it and you don't understand it until it's you posting about somebody who died that you know of before the family does. And you just
Oh my
think it's
God.
okay. But when it's your family, you will understand that you did not want that posted until you posted it, if you posted it.
That's true.
Pet
It's this
peeve of
urgency
mine.
to be the first one to say the information, or the first one to post the photo, or the first one to have the story. You're not journalist the first, but you got to be the first.
Yeah, but you gotta be the first. So tell us
No.
about some of the events in your life that you will never forget because of the career that you've had.
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Cheryl.
I think one of them is on a boat with Tom Joyner, I think, with a certain celebrity.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, because yes, I am a Janet Jackson fan.
She always
thanks
has
to
been.
my career, I have had an opportunity to be in her presence a lot of times.
Mhm.
What's crazy though is, you can't be a fan when you're working.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, that's true. And people,
That's-
just so you know, when you come around celebrities, act normal because they like that. Don't fan them. Don't fan them.
Yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
yes. And even that's something that's gone out the window now with the generations coming behind us. They pull out, if they come in contact with the celebrities, not if they're working or not, their phone comes out, they're on their live. That's not how we were trained. We're like, if you're in work mode, you're not a fan. But in any
Correct.
case, because Tom and the people that I work with know that I'm a fan, they allow me a certain grace
Mhm,
to
right.
get a photo or what have you when I'm around Janet. So that was definitely a memorable. It was the last cruise before Tom retired. She was the headliner, and yeah, that was very cool. She told me that I reminded her of her sister, Rebe.
Okay, centipede. Okay.
Made my day. Okay. And then another memorable experience was when Tyler Perry had the grand opening to the brand new Tyler Perry Studios. That was also in 2019. And I got a chance to go with Tom. That I will never forget that. That was the most memorable, spectacular experience. Yeah, I can't think of too many things that come close to that, because everywhere you turn, like you turn to your right, there's Cicely Tyson. You turn to your left, there's Sam Jackson. You turn the other way, there's Taraji P. Henson. I mean, whatever.
And you had, quote unquote, met those people, many of those people over the radio, but you're now talking about meeting them live.
Yes, like
Mhm.
I was seated at the table with Sheryl Lee Ralph and her husband, Maxwell, Will Packer, who I, of course, know. Fan you again. Sorry,
Yeah,
Spartans.
that's true.
Sorry, Spartans. But no, happy homecoming to you all, for real. And Norfolk, Hampton Roads is really my radio home. Like my first professional radio jobs were right there in Hampton Roads. So I have much love for Norfolk State and Hampton Roads. So even though family's the best. But anyway, but yeah, so many people were there, and just, relaxed, calm, normal environment, not work, just being in awe of what Tyler has been able to do there in Atlanta and everywhere, really, but with his studios. That was amazing. That was an amazing experience.
Tell me this.
But there's been so many.
You are such a creative person, like one of the most creative people that I know. Could you please tell people some of the things that you're doing now? You've written books, you've got you've got trips planned. Tell people what you're doing, Kim Nelson Ingram.
Yes. Okay. Well, I have my first of a couple more to come children's book. But my first one is called You Can Be Anything. And it's BEE, like a bumblebee, because the main character is a little bumblebee by the name of Bobby. And it's really, it's my book baby, I call it. I already have 2 children, but this is my book baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to youcanbeanything.com and check that out. And again, it's B with 2 E's, like a bumblebee. But that was my project that I worked over kind of during the pandemic and coming out of it, published it last year, self-published. But it was really important to me because it's a message for little girls in particular, but anyone, like adults read this and tell me they get inspired by it, because it's a reminder that you really can be, do, and have anything that you want if you're willing to use your imagination, your creativity, and put the work ethic in there as well. And you can do it.
Okay.
And so, also, well, I have something new brewing, but I can't announce it yet.
Okay.
But I can announce that I am putting together what I call creative escapades for their trips, like getaways for people who are creative or want to be creative. So whether you want to write for TV or whether you want to write a book or whether you're just trying to write your own business plan, there are getaways that I'm doing. They're invite only right now, but that women can get away and support each other and kind of be an incubator, idea generator, and really just create a space from your everyday hustle and bustle where you can, all those things that you say you want to do and create and come up with, the time carved out for you to do that. So
I really love that idea because I see so many of these empowerment conferences, nothing against them or whatever, but that's a person standing up there addressing a group of people. This is where you have a group of people and they're helping each other. They're encouraging each other. The ideas are being traded. And I just love that idea.
Yes, thank you so much. It was definitely an inspired idea because I went away on a trip and I realized how much I needed to shut off the rest of life so that I could, work on the next book and work on a script that I'm working on. So I don't know if there are any creatives listening that, again, it's kind of invite only right now, but I would love to hear what you would like to create and why you think this could be beneficial to you, something like that. So my email address that I will give for that purpose only. I can't get you booked on Ricky's show. I can't get you on Tom Cruise. I can't do any of that. But if you have something that you really want to create, like a passion project or a business or something that you've been wanting to write, please hit me up about it. And you can email me at producerlife@gmail.com. And it's producerlife@gmail.com.
Producerlife@gmail.com.
Produce her life. Yeah, because when I've been a producer all this time, and I was like, you know what? A lot of things that I learned as a producer, we really could implement in our lives to bring things to fruition that we want to manifest. And it's I don't know, that came to me. It was like, you know what? The things that you do as far as planning and organizing and bringing people together and, making lists and checking them twice and being on time and addressing people in a certain manner.
In a certain manner. That's right. Right.
But those tools, in my tool belt, so to speak, and yours and many of the people that we know, can be implemented just with regular everyday life goals and things that we want to do. So
we are minutes away from the end of the show, Kim, but please, you have to brag on my babies, which are also known as your children that are doing amazing things, please.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. So Jasenia was born in Norfolk.
Yes, she was.
And so she is she graduated from Spelman and she is still in Atlanta now. She is an actor, a singer. As she told me last night, dancing is still not her forte, but she just auditioned for a role that requires all three. So, and then Xavier is also, I didn't make these children go into the entertainment field or the arts. I promise you I didn't. I did not. They did it on their own. But my son Xavier is a student at UT, and he is an actor as well, a director, a writer, a producer. He's like, no, I didn't say this, Tyler. He said this. But I'm taking Tyler Perry to the next power. I said, okay, son.
To the next power. Okay. I love it.
So,
I'll never forget that little boy in the back seat of the car singing about loving his life like it's golden. Okay?
Like it's golden. Yes. When he was like, 2 maybe?
He was a little boy.
And he is still living his life like it's golden. He absolutely is.
And of course, we can't forget husband that's doing great things promoting HBCU and the dog that's getting bigger by the day. Kim Nelson Ingram,
Yes.
I don't know what I would do without you.
I love you so much. Thank you. Yep, and I must plug buyaniceShirt.com for all your HBCU paraphernalia, even Norfolk State paraphernalia. We got it.
Girl, I have one of those dresses. I have an NSU dress, buyaniceShirt.com. Yes, it was. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I have T-shirts from there.
Oh.
I wore my T-shirt the other week, and one of the VPs on campus looked at me and said, I need that T-shirt. I'm like, yes, you do. Here you are, buyaniceShirt.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love you so much. You know you are among my most longest and dearest friends.
Kim is also a Delta, and I love the way your line stays together. If anybody was going to convince me to pledge anything, it would have been you all. I love the way you do that. So, got that.
Thank you so
One more
much.
time, give out that email address.
Produce her life. Produce PRODUCE her HER life LIFE at gmail.com.
There you have it, Hampton Roads. Kim Nelson Ingram. She is one of the best. Look, finish this homecoming weekend. Be safe. Have a good time. I love you. We'll talk again next Sunday. Behold the green and gold.